Everybody, welcome to Kindred Spirits. I'm your host, Kristi Brower, and you know it. You're listening live to Marvelous Monday here on 12radio.com. I'm excited to be here with you. I really had a good time on the 12 News show this morning. I hope you were listening. And I hope you were listening to Mo, of course, but if not, and you're just here for the first show of the day for you with me, I just want to say welcome. I am live ×2 in the chat room, so go to 12radio.com and click on chat, and that will take you right to our Facebook chat group. You will find that I am live in the chat room in two different ways. The first being the post that my producer Scott has put at the top of the page, the pinned post, which is my show banner, and that's where I ask you to post your questions, comments, requests for readings. And then you will also find me live in the chat room on Facebook Live. So you can watch this show rather than listen. You can't really do both because the audio does not sync up. So if you're watching, then just turn off the player. But one way or the other, you can be here with me today. I have a topic today that I hope resonates with you. I feel like it was a bit of a smackdown when I wrote it in my article, but it is because it's something that has come up for me a bunch of times lately, and something that I really want to address. And this is, I'm going to talk about some of the myths around manifesting, and some of the things that I think are said or that have been built into us in the collective consciousness that are not true, that can be really painful and hurtful to people and to ourselves. It can affect our ability really to manifest when we are, too harsh with our. When my parents were sick and dying, you may or may not know if you've listened to me before that my parents died, my mom in 2011, my dad in 2013. They died 18 months apart of reproductive cancers. And so they were sick at the same time. They were in chemo at the same time. They went through a lot together. My dad actually was diagnosed first and then my mom, but my mom died first. When they were sick and dying, of course, my sisters and I and Rhonda, we're every situation, if we just think the right things or say the right words or believe the right things, that we will have the best outcome, or not even the best, but the outcome that we think is the right one. No, that is not true. That is not reality, okay? Our thoughts and beliefs are powerful, but they are not all powerful. Everybody gets sick sometime. And we all die. No matter how hard we try to stay alive, everyone's time comes eventually. You cannot release the belief that you will die and then live forever. That is not reality. And I think as rational human beings, we know that that is the case. But I also think that there has been some work done in our collective consciousness around manifesting, and I'm not going to say exactly where it's come from because I think it's come from a lot of different places, that has begun to lay blame at the feet of people who have difficulties in their lives. And I find that very unfair and incorrect because we all have these experiences. We can all do the right things and still get sick, lose a job or a loved one. That is part of life. It is part of being human. You cannot clear the belief and manifest away everything and all things will be perfect and sunshine and roses until the end of time. That's not real, guys. And I know that we know it. I know that we know it. But there's some deep belief, and it was interesting. I was talking with my sister Katie Weaver about this today, and she said that she has been thinking about this same issue and has realized that she has picked up some beliefs around the manifesting and around, beliefs and that kind of thing that have really been negative for her. And it's not stuff she's chosen to believe, but she's absorbed it from, various places. And I think that I think that we all have to some degree. And so this is something that I wanted to talk about today because I think it's incredibly unfair to ourselves to place blame on us for every bad thing that happens in our lives. Because that is not true. We don't have that much control. I know we wish we did. I sure wish I do. but I know that I don't. I know that I don't have that much control. The reality is that you can do all the right stuff. You can say all the right words. You can believe all the right things and eat all the right foods, and difficult things will still come your way. Because that is what reality is, unfortunately. Or maybe it's fortunately, I don't know, because we learn a lot, right? I've been through many things around illness and death in the last 10 years of my life. And I will say that although I've been through some very painful and challenging experiences, those experiences have molded me into who I am today. They help me to help other people. They help me to help myself, to be more resilient, to get through challenging experiences. And so ultimately, is it a bad thing to go through those things? Do I really need to try to manifest all of the difficult stuff away? I don't think so. I think that's part of the gig here. I'm getting a lot out of this experience. I'm developing a lot myself through the things that I have been through. Am I in charge of the world? No. Am I even in charge of my own body? No. You guys know I've been through some medical stuff in the last couple of years, and what it comes down to, bottom line, is that I have a genetic immune system deficiency that I was born with. Now, I couldn't have manifested that. I came into this body with it. Now, I didn't know until a year ago that I actually had it. It took a really long time to diagnose it because it's rare, and most doctors that I come in contact with have never had any experience with it at all. And so it's taken a really long time for me to understand what it is and how to do something about it. But did I bring it on? How do I bring on a genetic immune system deficiency, guys? I didn't. I didn't even know it existed. I can't develop something and it be my fault or I manifest it if I didn't even know it existed. And even if I did, do you think I want it? No, I don't. We have to stop. We have to stop with those words. They are hurtful. They bring people down. And they're not true. That is not real. No one creates illness in their body. This is a thoughtless way of blaming people for something they cannot control, and it does need to stop. We are responsible to take good care of ourselves and do our best to create wellness, but that does not mean that we will never get sick. If there were ever a person that has done everything that they possibly could to create wellness in their life, it's me. I have spent 20 years trying to understand my sort of weird medical anomaly through diet, through energy healing, through essential oils, through herbs and homeopathy and doctors and chiropractors and massage therapists and counselors. I have done it all. Did it change the fact that I'm sick? No, it did not. Did it change how I see it, though? Did it change the way that I am understanding and managing my illness? Yes. I have a lot of skills and tools around me that help very much on the day-to-day experiences of living with a chronic illness. I have a lot of resources, and for that I'm very, very grateful. I also have a little different understanding of how these things work, having gone through my parents' deaths and understanding that, we come into this world with a lot of stuff to do, and we're going to leave it at some point, no matter what. And do I think that my mom and dad created their cancers? No, I don't. I don't at all. Do I think that anybody creates those things inside themselves? No, I don't. Do I think we have control about what we do with and how we respond to those things? Absolutely. Are we responsible to do our best to stay healthy? Yeah, I think we are. I think that's how we're happy. I think that's how we stay around for our loved ones. I think that's how we develop the things that we want in this lifetime and become who we want to be. Yes, most definitely. But you can do all of those things and you can still get sick. But does that mean your life is over? Now you've totally failed and you should just be done? No, it definitely does not mean that either. I'm still working. I'm still doing everything that I want to do. I still feel like I am living my dream right here on the radio with you guys, teaching at 1-2 Academy, working at 1-2 Listen. I am fulfilling my dream, my life's goals, my purpose. I know I am. I'm not going to be a failure because I got sick. Does that mean that I shouldn't be healing other people because I have an issue myself? No, it definitely does not. Does it mean that I can understand people who are struggling with those kinds of things better? Most definitely. I would never pull myself out of the work that I am doing because I have a perspective to share that is a positive thing. I know this is a lot. I don't mean to be too preachy, but it is something that has come up over and over and over in the world. And I'm tired of hearing it. And I'm tired of the heartless way that it comes across. And I have to say to people who are saying those things, I think they have never lost a loved one to a serious illness, and they have never experienced one themselves. Because if they had, they would know. Nobody brings this stuff on themselves. Nobody wants it. And nobody deserves blame. Do I really deserve blame for the intricate workings of my immune system? Do you have any idea how complicated the immune system is? I didn't until this all happened to me. It is tremendously complicated. And the illness that I have, very few doctors have studied it or even understand it. The treatments are sort of like, well, this works. We don't really know why, like a lot of medical things. How would I have brought that on myself, you guys? How? I mean, think about it from a rational perspective, from a perspective of reality. Okay, Brittany says, it's amazing how heartless people can be. There certainly can be emotional components, but sometimes our lives just include illness. Sorry, people were asses. It's okay. It is. It's a part of the process we have to learn. And I think that we all go through periods of extremism in all of our beliefs. And that happens in the metaphysical community too. And this is one of those examples. We have to come back to a middle of the road place. Yeah, certainly there are emotional components. Certainly there are energetic components. There are. There are always things that we can do to make our lives better, to make our health better. I don't want to discount that in any way. But I'm done with the blame. And I hope that you are too. Karen says, some people think people in the metaphysical community should not get sick or be human at all. Some people are asses. I gotta agree with you there, Karen. And it's true that, some people do think that because we are, walking a spiritual path and learning to change the way that we think and understand the world, that we shouldn't have human experiences. And that's not possible. That's why we're here. That's who we are in these bodies. We're having human experiences. No one is immune to that. Absolutely no one. And I feel like it's important for people like me to continue this work and continue what I'm doing because I want to be a part of this. I want to have a voice in this because of my own experiences. And this is something that is obviously very close and near and dear to my heart that I am very passionate about. Because I frankly don't want to hear anyone else blamed or mistreated in this way. It's wrong. It is just wrong. Okay, we're going to go to a meditation, and when we come back, I'm going to talk a little bit more about some other myths that I have found in manifesting. I would love to hear if you have input on that in the chat room, because there are many, and I may not get to all of them, but there are a few more that I would like to talk about. But first, we're going to do a meditation. And today I want to do my Divine Spark meditation, because through all of this, I think it is important to remember who we really are. And that this lifetime, this body, is only one blip in those experiences. It is not everything. It is one experience. And sometimes remembering that, and remembering that we have existed before this lifetime and will continue after, brings a lot of hope and a lot of peace. This isn't all there is. We have much more to go, okay? So let's do my Divine Spark meditation. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Allow your body to settle and your mind to go quiet. Follow me on a journey to find the divine spark in you. Come with me as we walk down a wooded path. Feel the cool air on your face. Hear the pine needles crunch softly under your feet. Ahead you see a clearing. And standing in the clearing is a beautiful gilded mirror. Approach the mirror. Stand in front of it and take in the picture before you. There you stand, the divine you. See the flame of your heart light flicker in the breeze. See the beautiful colors of your aura as they move and swirl around you. And then notice the powerful red cord of energy that connects you to the earth. And the silver thread that connects you to your divine self. Take in the real you, the one that is the divine, the one that is infinite, the one that will live on beyond this lifetime. Take a moment to memorize this image. You will need it to give you strength when you feel weak and disconnected. Remember that this is who you really are. Now, when you're ready, join me as we walk back up the path, breathing in the scent of the trees and feeling the sun on your face. And when you're ready, take 3 deep breaths. And open your eyes. All right. Very good. I hope you enjoyed that meditation. I hope that was helpful to you. I think sometimes we have to remember our own divinity and that we're in this life on a journey. It's kind of like taking a hike. When we're done, there will be another one, right? So this is not the only experience. It is just one experience. Geraldine says, I'm so sick of the blame and shame. I find myself beating myself up sometimes for illness because part of me drank the Kool-Aid. I think part of us all drank the Kool-Aid. Somewhere in all that manifesting stuff, we got this message. I want to debunk it. I want to change it. I want us to talk about it. That's how we bring it to our awareness so that we can make it different. I don't want this to hurt people anymore. I don't want anybody blaming themselves, and I don't want anybody blaming anybody else. It's wrong. It's hurtful. We all have stuff to work on. I don't mean to imply that we don't. I know we do. I do too. But does that mean that I deserve to be blamed for the rest of my life for a chronic illness I can do nothing about? No. I will continue to do all of my work with my energy healing and my meditation and my guides and my essential oils and my stones and all the stuff that I do to help to keep myself well. I will continue to do all of those things forever. I'm not done, but I'm also not going to take the blame. I'm not going to tolerate it anymore. So a few more manifesting myths that I wanted to get to, because that's what we're talking about today. If you're just joining us, this is Kindred Spirits, and I'm your host, Kristi Brower, and we're talking about debunking the myths of manifesting. So I have a few others. You cannot think things into existence. Manifesting takes action, hard work, and perseverance. Making a request to the universe and then sitting back to wait for the abundance to roll in is useless. We are part of the equation. We manifest things into our lives through inspired action. Putting the word out to the universe that that's something that you want to bring something to you, is just the first step. And then the next steps are to actively seek out that thing that you want, to do your part of the work. The idea is that the universe is going to line some stuff up for you. And I use universe because that's sort of my terminology for God. Now you use whatever you want to use. But in my experience, I put the word out that, hey, this is something I'd really like to bring into my life. And then I actively get going on bringing it into my life. And I have many times felt things line up, fall into place, sort of like dominoes that make what I need to happen. Did that mean that I sat back and waited for it to happen? No. It meant I was out in the world actively making it happen, trusting my intuition, listening to my inner guidance system, and going and doing the things that I know I needed to do to make this happen. And my manifesting brought it to me more easily. If it was the right thing for me. One of the things we have to remember in manifesting is sometimes we ask for things that really aren't good for us. And if we ask for something that really isn't good for us, we may not bring it into fruition. If you continue to ask for the same thing over and over again, you may need to consider that you have to change your own tactic. So manifesting takes willingness to receive and willingness to think outside the box. If we keep doing the same things over and over and getting the same result, we have to change something in order to receive. Maybe we're asking for something that isn't really good for us. Maybe we're not quite asking for the right thing. It's important to evaluate. It's important to get feedback. Ask people that you love and trust. I'm trying to bring this into my life. It's not working out. Tell me what you think about that. And somebody might say, to me, that doesn't feel like quite the right thing for you. What if you looked at it in this way? And somebody else's perspective can change things very significantly. We get really, really stuck in our own view of the world. And sometimes we need somebody else's to remind us that there's a different way to look at things. So be sure to seek that out. And the last one that I want to talk about is that you can afford the luxury of a negative thought. It is a myth that thinking negatively or having a bad day will bring things into your life. Of course, we want to stay positive, or will bring bad things into your life. Of course, we want to stay positive, but we also need to be real and express our true emotions and validate ourselves. It's not so much about having a negative thought or having a bad day. It is about the recovery. Do we stay stuck in that for long periods of time, or do we choose to recover and move forward? That's really what matters. It is not the in-the-moment thought. Please stop stopping yourself in the moment and, oh my God, now I thought it, now it's going to happen. No, that is not how this works. It is a long-term general energy. What are we projecting in general over a period of time? Not one thought, not one statement, not one bad day. So your job is whatever experiences you have is to learn to roll with it, to learn to recover. I do that meditation, my inner peace meditation, where we throw rocks into a pond. So we, speak into a rock, something we want to let go of. We throw it into a pond. We watch the pond and the ripples that happen that spread out concentric circles through from the center where the rock landed. And then we watch the pond return to a sense of calm. The pond returns to stillness, right? That's our job, to learn to return to stillness. It isn't to stop thoughts or stop emotions. It is to learn to recognize when we need to return to that still point, when we need to return to a state of peace, when we need to choose our reactions. That's what matters. Trying to police every thought and every word and every emotion is exhausting, and it is useless. It also really discounts who we are. It discounts how we feel. It creates all kinds of problems in the energy body, in the throat chakra, and the heart chakra area. It shuts down the solar plexus and the sacral chakra when we no longer feel safe to express how we truly feel about anything, because it might be wrong and we might bring a bad thing into our lives. That is not healthy. Not healthy at all. So please feel your emotions, think your thoughts, and then work to recover. Work to return to a place of peace. Choose your reactions. That's what matters. But stop discounting ourselves. We have to do that. Manifesting should bring positive things into our lives, motivate us, and inspire us. In some ways, the rules of manifesting have slipped into another way to be too hard on ourselves and others. Let's drop the judgment and find ways to accept our realities. We can always work to bring change, but we should never feel like we are to blame for the things that happen to all humans. We are not to blame when we get sick, when someone dies, when a job doesn't work out, when a friendship doesn't work out. Of course, we want to do our best all the time, in our own ways. But does it mean that we are responsible when something bad happens to us? No, we are not. And are we really in control of all of this? Boy, we sure aren't. As much as we want to be, I think as much as we hope that we are not. That we are not. Okay? So please post your questions and your comments in the chat. I am going to do readings and healings today, and so if you have those, post those as well. Let's see. In the video, Roma has a question. I struggled with the silver thread. Does that mean I need to work on anything specific? Yes, it does. So Roma, you might consider that you are struggling with that idea that you have connection to your higher self. So when I say your higher self, what I really mean is your soul. So your soul connects into your body through that silver thread. So a part of our soul is what builds our energy bodies and, basically animates these physical bodies. When we die, the soul leaves, that energy body leaves, and that's what we're left with is a no longer functioning physical body. So thinking about your connection to your higher self, trusting that you have one, trusting that there is some very divine wisdom there that you can access, trusting that it is okay to access that wisdom for yourself, that there's no authority that you have to go to do that. Those are some things that I would work on. So thinking through that, and that will help you with the silver thread. So thank you. That's a great question. And it's good to see you, by the way, Roma. By the way, I know Roma personally, so it's nice to see her. Okay, a couple more comments here. Alishaya says, I think we can alter our outlook, our behaviors, and our actions, but we all have a path to walk. There will be certain experiences on our map. There is a saying in Cuba, which I'm not going to say it in Spanish because I can't. There is no bridge for the puddles you must cross. Exactly. Thank you. That is exactly what I'm saying, Alishaya. That's lovely and so true. We have a path to walk. We're all going to have experiences. You cannot manifest away all of the challenging experiences in your life. And why would you want to? Those things make us who we are. You look back on who you were before something very significant happened in your life. Have you changed? How significantly have you changed? Because I know it's significant. I've been there. Would you give up that growth? I know I wouldn't. I know that I wouldn't. And part of it for me is a very strong inner knowing that everyone that I've lost in my lifetime, I have not lost. They are still there, very much there, even though they're no longer in the physical here with me. And this physical body is only one small manifestation of who I am. It's a bit defective. That's okay. I'm going to learn to work with it as much as I can. And I know that I will move on and have others that maybe function a little better in other lifetimes. But knowing that this isn't all there is, does really help me very much. Terry says, good morning to you and my 1-2 family. If you have time today, I'd love an energy reading. I have done a lot of visualizing on the cancer disappearing, but then I backtrack and start to doubt myself. I'd love to know if there are certain oils to use in the house for releasing this cancer. Okay, yes. So a really important oil for cancer is frankincense. So get yourself some frankincense, diffuse it, use it. You can dilute it in a carrier oil and rub it on your body in the area where your cancer is. First of all, I want to say, Terry, that it's okay if sometimes you backtrack and doubt yourself. We are fighting against a cultural education that teaches us that a lot of the things that we believe here in the metaphysical community are not real. And sometimes because of things that we do that are so non-tangible, we can fall back on that. It doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. The visualizing of the cancer disappearing is an awesome way to do it. Visualize it shrinking and getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Okay? That's one thing that you always want to do with cancer is you want to visualize it getting smaller. You don't really want to put energy into it. You want to take energy away from it. So think about that in your visualizing. How do you remove energy, not place energy on it? Also, be sure that when you're doing your visualizations, that is the only time that you focus on the cancer. And I know that this is a tall order, but it's important that it doesn't become the only thing that you think about, the only thing that you talk about. Really work to stay positive and connected to the relationships in your life, the things that you love to do, the things that matter to you, the things you are passionate about. Don't let those things disappear out of your life and let cancer become your whole focus, okay? I think that it's easy to do. I know that it's easy for me to do with my issue as well. And so I really have to push myself to do creative things, to get out into the world, to do all the stuff that I love. Having an illness does not mean that you just give all of that up. And that's really, really important. But be kind with yourself. It's okay to have some doubts. That's okay. Start again the next day, okay? But definitely get some frankincense, some good quality frankincense. I'll tell you a company that I really like because their frankincense is very good quality and it's also very reasonably priced because frankincense can be super expensive. And that's Jade Bloom, Jade Bloom, is a great company for essential oils. And if you like another one, go for it. I don't mean to give a specific plug. The reason I mentioned Jade Bloom is because their frankincense is significantly less expensive than other companies. I have used their frankincense for a couple of years now and find it to be just as effective. So I just wanted you to know that. So much love to you, Terry. And please know we are all here for you. And in no way are we placing any blame on you. And it's okay to have bad days. Just know that, okay? Much love to you. Thank you for that. Okay, let's see. So I did have a stone that I wanted to share with you today as part of this conversation. Give me 1 second. I'm just updating Facebook because, you know, it takes a minute. Can be a little slow. Here we go. There we go. Okay, so the stone of the week is pink kunzite. So this is pink kunzite. This is just a small piece. I know it's hard to see it on the video, but it is a great stone for supporting loving thoughts. Let's see. I want to see. I forget. I'm on 2 cameras. I want to make sure everyone can see it. Okay, I know it's really hard to see. You can't see it on the video very well because it's a very light pink, kind of clear stone. Kunzite is a very gentle, loving stone. I love the gentleness of it. Some stones are much more kind of in your face energy-wise, and kunzite isn't. So it supports loving thoughts, positive thinking, and communication. So it's a great stone to assist you in working through this process if there's any blame going on of yourself or someone else about an issue that has come up in their life. And I don't mean to discount people's choices. I mean, if you make a choice that gets you into some trouble and you consciously choose it, that's one thing. But if you are not consciously choosing something and it happens to you, does that mean you brought it on yourself? No, it definitely does not. So pink kunzite is a great stone to use to really support positive thoughts and loving thoughts about yourself, to stop the blame game, to stop the constant pressure on yourself, and to be able to accept your situation as it is. And certainly work on things that help you to feel better, work on growth that you want, but railing against a situation or fighting against it or blaming does nothing to improve it. It only makes you miserable on top of whatever else you're struggling with. And so accepting where you're at, that this is my new reality, is really important. And then from there, you can, branch out as long as you're doing it in a loving way, as long as it is in a way that is kind to yourself. Okay. Terry says, thanks so much, Kristi. I'll look up that company. Was using Eden's Garden through Amazon. I will tell you, I caution people to use essential oils from Amazon. And I don't mean to disparage any particular company, but I have had some experiences where oils from Amazon have been diluted. So, for example, there were some problems, or have been some problems, with doTERRA oils that are for sale on Amazon. And what people do is they take bottles and they use up a bottle and then they fill it up with a carrier oil. So there's a little bit of the oil in there and it's diluted, and then they're charging the regular retail price. So there's been some stuff like that. Be careful with that. Although Eden's Garden probably is a company that you could order directly from. And so if you like their oils, you might not go to Amazon, but go to their direct website. That way you know you're getting, for sure, pure oils that haven't been diluted. But that's just something to think about, because there's sadly a lot of fraud in essential oils, which is crazy. I've talked to you before about all the fraud in crystals. There's tons of fraud in crystals, which just absolutely is infuriating to me, but that is true. People fake all kinds of stones, and that's happening with oils now too. So if you can, go direct to the company, because a company is not going to want to do that because they don't want that kind of press. But when it's being sold through a third party, like Amazon, that's when things can get a little dicey. So you just want to make sure that you're getting the very best. Okay, so I have a couple of classes coming up I wanted to talk to you about. I know I have some questions in the chat that I'm going to get to. If you would like a reading or an energy healing, please post that up in the chat while I talk about my classes, and then I will get to you. So first of all, tonight is Psychic Sisters Spirit School. This is the class that I teach with my sister Katie, and we do it once a month, and it is a lot of fun. It's a class that we've taken our expertise in the metaphysical world, having owned a metaphysical store and spiritual center for 9 years. We have a lot of things that we used to teach in person in our center that we've decided to take online. And this month we are going to be talking about connecting with goddesses and goddess energy. This is a great class for anybody interested in goddesses, men, women, whoever. It's not, meant to be gender specific in any way. And it is a great opportunity to learn more about some of the goddesses that, we are familiar with. We're going to share some of our own experiences. And I'm going to share a very special meditation that I've only ever shared here in the 1-2 family one other time. And we're going to use it tonight to connect with goddesses specifically and with goddess energy. It's a very empowering experience to connect with that very strong feminine energy that we need on this planet right now, that many of us need. So it's an important time to connect with the energy of goddesses and to learn how to connect with them. That's one thing that I think many people struggle with, is really the how-to. How do you do it? So we're going to share that with you tonight. It's at 7 p.m. Pacific over at 1-2 Academy. Of course, it's a teleconference class. It will be recorded. You don't have to attend live. You will get a link to download the MP3 file after the fact if you cannot be there live. So that's a great way to be sure that you can attend. It's nearly impossible. You guys are all over the world, those of you listening right now, and so never can we schedule a class that everybody can go to. And so that's why the recordings of classes are so very important, is because that makes them available to you wherever you happen to be. And I do love that about our system. Okay, and one more class that I have coming up. So next Monday, a week from today, is my Advanced Healer Training class. And so this is something I've been teaching for a little while. Well, I started it this year. For all of you who are energy healers in any way, whether you studied with me or you studied with anybody else, it doesn't matter where you learned it, but you can get some more specific and in-depth skills from this class. General energy healing classes are that very, very general. So over the years, I have studied and developed all different kinds of ways to specifically work on individual issues in very targeted ways. And so this class is specifically on organ health. And so we're going to talk about the function of a lot of the organs in the physical body, the physical functions as well as the energetic functions. And how do we support and heal an organ? What do we do if we've lost an organ? For example, I don't have a gallbladder or a thyroid anymore, thanks to all this medical stuff. So the gallbladder and the thyroid have jobs. They had physical jobs, and they also had energetic jobs. So how do you replace that in the body? What do you do about that? If an organ is missing or if an organ is not functioning optimally, what do you do? So I have some ways to help with that and assist you as a healer with some specific ideas around that. So anyway, we'll be doing that next Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific over at 12 Academy. And it is also a recorded teleconference class. So you'll have the recording of that if you can't attend live. So I'm excited. I love teaching. It's my favorite aspect of what I do. I like to empower you. I don't want to just, heal you and then send you on your way, or work with your energy body and say, okay, I think you're balanced, you're done. No, I'd like you to always have things that you can do on your end, because that's how we really find some wellness. And when I talk about wellness, I really mean it in a mental and emotional way. You can be sick physically and still be well. You can still be happy. You can still feel like your life is going in a direction that you want it to go. It's possible to have both. I'm learning that myself, and it's something that I want to teach you. So important stuff. So thank you very much for being here and being present with me for that. It is certainly a pleasure for me. Okay, got lots of questions in the chat, so we're going to get to those. There we go. Okay. So Sandy says, went for a second test at Company A for a job position today. I don't feel that it went well, though. Do you see me hearing back from them again, please? Oh, let's see, Sandy. So with jobs, I always get percentages because it's never really a cut and dried yes or no, hardly ever. I would say that there's a 25% chance that you will hear back from them. Not great. I really like to see that above 50 to be sure, to say, yes, absolutely you will. So it's not zero, but it's not great. So if you have other options, I would definitely be pursuing them, and don't just put all your eggs in one basket with this company, okay? Okay. I truly believe, Sandy, that when you find your job, it's going to be just the right job for you, and you're really being put through your paces to do your end of the work, and I know that you are. Just want to validate that for you. So much love to you. And I think keep on plugging with everybody else as well. Okay. All right. Let's see. Oh, Terry said she did respond to my comment about Amazon. Yes, the product is shipped directly from their site. Good. Okay. So that means you're getting good stuff and not somebody's diluted junk. Let's see. Annika says, I would love an energy clearing. Thank you. Oh, okay. Yes. Annika, you have an attachment. It is sort of in your upper back. It is a thought form attachment. It's the kind of little arrow that we kind of sling at each other. It's a thought form attachment. So when somebody has an emotionally charged reaction to something that you said or did, not that you did anything wrong, likely you expressed yourself or told the truth of a situation and somebody didn't appreciate that, so it's not anything that you have to change. It is really about them and their issue. But I feel like you may be having a little bit of tightness or stiffness in your upper back and neck. That is coming from that attachment. So I'm just going to clear that. So with an attachment like this, we always pull the cord and heal it. I'm just going to send it back to where it came from, to the person that it came from, because it belongs to them. It's attached to their energy body. So we want to make that disconnection and give space and clarity between the two of you. So I suspect you know what we're talking about here, that there's been some kind of a difficult situation that you have had with another person lately. So that will clear up some physical symptoms you're having. I think it will also clear up some emotional symptoms you're having. So an attachment like that creates this connection between people that's a pipeline of emotional energy. And so you may be feeling some of someone else. So you may be having some feelings inside of yourself that you can't seem to process, and it's because they don't really belong to you to begin with. So just let that go and know that it's not yours, and no reason to hang on to it. Okay, much love and thank you for being here. Marion says, you are so right about that, about what can happen when ordering oils from Amazon. I tried that recently and had that result. I wrote them and sent them back. 2 things I rarely do. Oh, yes, dang it. And that it's so frustrating, but I'm glad that kind of the word is getting out that can be an issue. I hate to see that happen to anybody because oils are expensive. And when you're ordering them, it's because you really need them and want them, and it's such a disappointment to get something that is subpar. So I am very glad that that worked out for you. Sandy says, it's okay, I'm looking for other job opportunities. Good, I'm glad. And one of them is going to work out for you. I know it will. Annika says, yes, thank you. I caught someone in a lie and called him out on it. Thank you for sending it back to him. It's a great example of how a thought form attachment can form. So definitely it's a great opportunity to just separate the two of you. Nobody needs to be carrying that around. Alishaya says, time permitting, would you please take a quick look at my energy body? Thank you. Yes, okay, so I'm feeling a root chakra issue with you, Alishaya. Your root is pulling off to the right. I'm having some hip and low back pain from some destabilizing that's happened in your root. So likely something has happened lately that has affected your sense of safety, security, and stability. And so we just need to shift. There we go. Pull that root back into place where it should be, in the center of your body at the base of your spine. Shouldn't be shifted to the right or the left, but it happens to all of us when we go through different challenging experiences. So we're just going to stabilize that root and ground and center you, Alishaya. I think you'll feel a whole lot better after that. So thank you. Okay, very good. Marion said, I would like an energy clearing and healing. My right shoulder, hip, and knee have been painful, especially the shoulder. Okay. Okay. So this is a problem that happens in one of the cycles of energy and how they flow through the body. So one cycle of energy is that we draw life force energy up through the bottom of our left foot. It travels all the way up through your energy body. So this is bringing in new energy. And then we're pushing out old energy down the right side of your body. And it can get stuck in your joints. This is a place where energy doesn't flow as easily and can get stuck in your joints. I feel like that's the problem, Marion. And so let's do this together. And we can all do this together. Everyone join us. So just close your eyes and take a couple of deep breaths. Now draw intentionally. When you breathe in, I want you to draw life force energy up through your left foot. Breathe it in all the way to the top of your head. And then when you breathe out, you're going to push that energy all the way down the right side of your body, pushing stagnant energy out your right foot. Okay? So breathe in to the top of your head. Now breathe out. Push it all the way out the right foot. Breathe in. Left side up to the top of your head and out. Right side all the way down and out your right foot. So let's do it 3 more times. Breathe in. Now breathe out the old. Breathe in the new. And breathe out the old. And last time, breathe in. And really push out the right side. Good. Okay. So, Marion, for you, it's really important that you do that exercise several times a day for the next week or so. So stop and even just do it 5 times and do it 3 or 4 times a day. Really bringing that energy in up that left side and pushing it out the right. And what you're doing is you're reaffirming that cycle of energy. You're pushing through that block that's in your shoulder and that's, going down through your other, hip and knee. To push that energy all the way out, you're going to find that the pain in your joints will subside and you won't have as much pressure in there. Okay, so thank you for that question. That's a great one, and it's a cycle in the root chakra that does get messed up kind of frequently. So don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Just do the breathing and it'll clear it up. Okay. Julia says, hi, Kristi. Can I ask what you see around new love relationship coming into my life? Thank you. Oh, okay. I'm getting the letter K very strongly. I feel like that this is a person that is a friend of a friend of a friend kind of situation. You may have met them before, or at least been in a social situation that you were both at, even if you didn't actually meet each other. So I feel like that this is someone that is sort of in your circle, that if you think about, friends and friends of friends, I think you'll find who this person is. They are a fairly reserved energy, and so that tells me that they're going to need a little bit of a push from you. And so once you figure out who it is, it's okay to engage in conversation, to engage in some social interaction with them in order to kind of get the ball rolling. But there's someone very near you that is coming in. So good, yay, exciting. That's what we like to hear, right? Okay, let's see. Ivy says, may I please have a clearing? You surely can, Ivy. Boy, you have something going on in your back. It's in the back of your root chakra. Okay, so I have to give names to things because there is not good language to describe what I see in the energy body, and so I always have to give it looks like this or it feels like that kind of a thing. And so this is what I call heart chakra dust bunnies. So we all, a lot of us on this metaphysical, new age spirituality path, we are doing lots of work on ourselves. We do a lot of work on our heart chakras and our emotions. And so what happens sometimes with the heart is that we do a really good job of keeping the front and center of the heart clear. And we forget that the heart chakra is your whole chest, all the way down your arms to the ends of your fingers. And it is all the way through your body and into your back. And so it's sort of like when you vacuum your house and you always vacuum around the furniture. One day, once a year, maybe if you're me, you pull out your furniture and you find what's underneath them. So your house seems clean until you pull out that furniture and you discover what has been left behind, those dust bunnies. So I feel like that's what's going on in your heart, Ivy. So I'm just going to do a little clearing on that to help clear those things out of your back. But please remember that. Remember that with your energy body. When you're working on yourself, when you're meditating and, working to balance your heart chakra or balance your solar plexus, that it passes all the way through your body. You got to think about the back as well as the front. So that should help a lot, Ivy. And thank you for the question. Julia says, not sure who it is, but we'll keep an eye out for a K. Yes, boy, please do. I would love to know who that is. But I think it won't be long, and you will know something. Somehow that person is sort of within your orbit already, so you're going to come into contact with them fairly soon. Well, guys, we have talked our way all the way down to the end of this show, and I just want to say thank you so much for being here today and for listening and participating. I feel like this was an important conversation. I hope it resonated with you. I hope that it alleviated some of the guilt and blame that you might have picked up from this collective belief about manifesting. I certainly do not want to perpetuate it, and I'm very careful in my words that I don't. But I know that it has become an internalized belief for a lot of us. So let's continue to work on that. Let's continue to debunk it, to challenge it when people bring it up, okay? That we do not manifest illness into our lives. We do not bring on bad things. That is a part of being human. When we are making good choices and taking good care of ourselves, bad things can still happen. That's part of life. We need to remember that and not put so much pressure and pain on ourselves and other people. So thank you so much for being here today. Please be sure to stay tuned for the Keys to Awakening with Velva Dawn and Kathleen Peterson and friends. You'll find me again this week on Thursday with the Psychic Sisters. And don't forget to check out 1-2 Academy because I've got some great classes coming up. I will see you over at 1-2 Listen. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, thanks for listening to 1-2 Radio, where we're changing the way you listen to the world.